Hello everyone, I hope you're having a great day. In this video I'll be breaking down the major changes to the Arcane Vanguard class mod that was made by Saethos. Just a few days ago we got ourselves the Dervish rework, which adds a bunch of new icons and changed up some abilities for these subclasses. I'll also be covering the new Hellionaut subclass that they added in this video, so this is a really cool one. And we also got ourselves the Graveknight and Icequiver mod since its release with the Eldritch, Judgment, Sentinel, and Dervish Vanguards. The Dervish just got some more love here, and it's a very fun subclass to play with, so we'll be breaking down all of this here. Now, a quick little recap. The Arcane Vanguard has 302 different boosts that it can give your character, 160 different passives, 23 different interrupts, 15 zone spells, 146 spell entries, 17 shouts, 53 projectiles, 4 level maps, 1 equipment entry, and 721 different data sets in this. There's a lot going on behind the scenes, and that's why I want to break all of this down. You can see here on the mod page, there is a wealth of information regarding all the classes, so it has all the unique abilities that they get. Another cool thing is this subclass, or this class mod has level 20 support, as well as those 7 different subclasses. So there's a lot going on with this one, and it's just by far one of my favorites. So to start off, one thing I just want to highlight right off the bat here is Saethos is a DM in Dungeons & Dragons, so he knows how to keep these things very well balanced. There's been requests for different spells over the time, but what he does is make sure that each of the spells makes sense in the given context of the subclass that'd be utilizing it. He's also on the lookout for, obviously, if there's ever new spell mods that come out that people really want to see. It just goes above and beyond to make this a very fun to play but balanced experience for a subclass. So I guess the first thing I want to touch on is all the different fighting styles, because there's some new ones here. So you got like the read the enemy using intelligence modifier instead of dexterity, increasing your movement speed, giving yourself the empowered arcane when you do weapon attacks, because this class is all about weaving between your weapon attacks with some spell casting and cantrips. So this critical momentum, really cool. Whenever you hit critical hits with your weapons, it increases your spell critical hit chance, and then once you hit a critical hit with your spell, it reduces back down to 0, which is pretty cool. Exposed cuts, whenever you damage a creature with melee attacks, you deal additional damage with a spell or cantrip. Echoing malice, this will whenever you damage a creature with a ranged weapon attack, you mark them, and then whenever your next cantrip attacks, it'll do a 1d6 of force damage. And then also spell my grasp, which allows you to pull someone towards you when using a spell or a cantrip while wielding a melee weapon. And we also got the Blade Dancer, which lets you get a free offhand attack without consuming a bonus action and dealing additional damage, and giving you the Blade Dance ready status. And the newest one here, my favorite, Ethereal Edge. When wielding a finesse weapon, your weapon attacks that are not from cantrips have a range of 4.5 meters, increasing the overall range. I think that is awesome. So constantly adding things that make sense to this class mod into the fighting styles. They have also great spell selection here. So if you're going through with cantrips, you got a ton of different choices. The spells there's ones that are specific to the Arcane Vanguard itself, and there's also spells that are specific to the subclass that you choose. Like for the Eldritch, it's got mostly psychic focus, Judgment's more of the elemental, Sentinel being more radiant damage focus, almost like a paladin, and then Dervish. This is the big rework here, so I think I'm going to start here with this, and we'll move on to the different subclass that got added. So they have their different flourish attacks, and you can now see they got these spiffy new icons here. So things like the charge flourish, making a weapon attack will deal additional 1d4 force damage. Staggering flourish lowers our target's armor class by 1. This one will raise your own armor class. Distracting will lower target's attack rolls. This will raise your attack rolls for 1 turn. Crippling flourish here, making a weapon attack will lower the target's movement speed by 1/2 and reduce their strength, constitution, and dexterity saving throws by 1. And then there's charming flourish, which will do the same, lower their wisdom, intelligence, and charisma saving throws for 1 turn. So very cool here. We got a lot of different options, but what I think is nice is all these new icons that they got from them. This is really flashy. So just again shows that they are taking a lot of care to make sure that this is the best experience possible as far as a class mod goes. Another thing that I like about the Arcane Vanguard is it uses your intelligence modifier for weapon attack and damage rolls at level 2, so you can just focus on being a better spellcaster without having a sacrifice to your martial stats there. Again, great spell selection, and you also get Vanguard talent, so force enemy to make a charisma saving throw and trade places with you. Arcane tether, your allies restore health points if they start a turn within a marked position, or the marked target that you apply this to. We also got ourselves a focus shatter, so if you have a concentration, you can actually break your concentration, give yourself additional damage. I love this one, such a cool, it's just like risk versus reward. Do I break my concentration on whatever spell that I'm holding? Liberated spell casting, whenever you kill a creature, you can use your reaction to cast a cantrip once per short rest. Combat Acrobat after using spell and weapon attack in succession before the end of your next turn. You have advantage in dexterity saving throws, which is very nice to have. Arcane acrobatics checks until the next turn, as well as 1 turn of momentum. And the force of Arcana. So the range of all your spells are lowered to 3 meters. Whenever you're near 2 enemies or more, you get a +1 to saving throws and gain 2 turns of wrath. Upon casting a spell, this uses using a spell slot. This effect can be toggled, but will remove your stacks of wrath. It's kind of cool. It makes you more of a close range fighter here. I really like all the different abilities that you get. It's always fun going through and changing up the Arcane Vanguard because you got so many great choices here. So again, good spell selection with Mistress spells here. Social aid skills, so choose a study to influence your social interactions. So this is a cool one. So you can construct your argument here, add a bonus to your persuasion modifier equal to your intelligence checks. Great for a good aligned playthrough, as persuasion checks typically in this game are good aligned. This one adds a tier intimidation modifier, so good for an evil playthrough. And calculated liar, deception's kind of like in the middle there. So really cool. And then we got second tier flourishes now. This is another new ability here with, again, reworked icons for them. So there's the Violent Flourish here. Make a spell-fueled weapon attack that deals additional 4 to 7 force damage. Enchanting Flourish. It deals 1 force damage and Force of Wisdom saving throw, making the target unable to attack you on its next turn. Sturdy Flourish. Make it do force damage, reduce all incoming damage by 1 for 2 turns. Regenerative Flourish will give you health points back. These are passive features, by the way, so you can apply these. And then you also get or I guess you get this here. This is the passive, gives you this. So yeah, you get health points back on damage. Terrifying Flourish can frighten a target, so actually really nice to have. And you can see again, new icons. These are looking flashy, and you can just differentiate them between the tier 1, tier 2. Again, a wealth of this class is all the different spells that you got selectable. And also level 3 spells, got some great ones. I love Tidal Wave, sets up water while doing damage and knocking targets prone, but Counterspell also works great because you can go with the Duelist Prerogative for 2 of these. Now, once you get to level 5 with the Vanguard Spell Weave, and this is kind of like, you know, every class is that level 5 power spike. When you take an attack, you can cast a cantrip for free as a part of that action. You must choose the cantrip. First, however, one action must be a weapon attack and the other must be a cantrip. So this is worded in a way because Booming Blade is a big, question mark on a lot of different subclass mods that came out, because Booming Blade is coming to patch 8, very strong. And smart how they handled this. They made it work very well. You'll see the Blink spell, and again, great spell selection. And Cantrip Flourishes, so you get to choose another one of these here, which is really nice to get, again, another choice of. There's also some new Vanguard talents as you level up, like Follow Up, getting a 1d4 bonus to attack rolls when attacking after casting a spell or cantrip. We also got ourselves the Student of War, which will give you whatever school of magic you cast from. You get the Abjuration of War or Evocation of War, which powers up your school's magic. And the Vanguard Recovery, allowing you to restore 2 first level spell slots. Really nice abilities as you continue to level. Once we get ourselves level 7, we get the Vanguard technique, allowing you to cast a spell as a bonus action, or do a spell and then a weapon attack as a bonus action, allowing you to weave between the 2 of them. And then you also get another choice of a second tier Flourish, and also increased level of spells, so you can even like Wall of Fire, which is nice. This is the Arcane Vanguard itself. If you were to choose the other subclass, that they have their own spells that you select from. And this is a really cool subclass feature of the Arcane Dervish here. So the Arcane Crescendo. So whenever you use a spell or cantrip Flourish, you gain 1 stack of the Arcane Crescendo. As you build these up at level 3 3 stacks of this, you get an increased critical hit chance, but it reduces the threshold by 1 or 5% increase. At 5 stacks, you get additional 1d4 of force damage on weapon attacks, and using a finisher at 6 stacks will restore your first level spell slot. Really nice. In the spell Cascade, after using spell Flourish, you get a +1 to your saving throw for 2 turns. And you also get Destructive Wave, one of my favorite spells in the game. Big Boom. Some more very cool Vanguard talents here. So your melee spell attack rolls can gain a range of 4.5 meters, so similar to the weapon attacks that we can increase our size. Vanguard's Protection, you can create a protective barrier for your team, reducing damage taken by your intelligence modifier for 5 turns, bonus action. The Elemental Cascade, I really like this one. When you attack with your plain old default weapon attack, your weapon damage is converted entirely to the damage type of your most recent spell attack done, and apply a varying status effect based on that elemental damage type. I think that's really fun because you can go crazy with some of the different elemental damage types, Force being a really nice one to have, especially on the Dervish here. Tactical Strikes, once per turn when you attack with a weapon, you deal additional 1d4 of additional weapon damage. That can be an additional 1d4 of force if you have that being your spell. You also get like the Blade Barrier there as well. A bunch of more spells. Some of my favorites, again, you got Wall of Ice there, which is fun to mess around with in this game. You get another second tier of flourish there for better ability to combat enemies. And again, great level 6 spells. At level 13, you get the Spell Cutter, have an advantage on saving throws triggered by creatures you attacked on your previous turn. I think that's awesome. And once you get past level 6 or 12 here, you still just get the regular spells that you got, but you also get, again, another choice in your cantrip flourishes here. I love they added level 20 support. This is something that some people really do like, so I think that's awesome to add that in. Vanguard talents, again, you get another selection here once you get to level 14. The Arcane Vanguard is incredible. Level 15 subclass feature Warping Flourish. After using cantrip or spell flourish, you can teleport to any space within 5 meters of yourself. And you can finish off your second tier flourishes here at level 15. Into level 16, you can just go with another feat there, and you can also obviously replace your spell at any time if you wanted something a little bit different. And just, again, continue to pick some spells. It's nice. It's kind of normal for higher level spells. You don't want to get too many of them, but just a nice selection here if you want to try something else new, like Armor of Agathis there. Vanguard talents, you can get now the extra attack War Magic. When you attack as a bonus action, you can make an additional attack. So this, again, just further enhances the ability to melee attack spellcast. And once we make our way to level 20, this is the capstone for this Dervish subclass. Your cantrip and spell flourishes are always prepared at the start of your turn and can be used consecutively as an action. So yeah, Kingslayer Dance, pretty strong. So I'll show off this, what it ends up looking like. So yeah, we got a lot of different spells. You definitely want to move this around whenever you're going to go with an attack. I actually think that one of the best weapons in the game that you get is the Fowler Alluve sword. So you can roll with that pretty much the whole game if you wanted to go with something that's finesse. Longsword can wear a shield. So we got all of our different spell attacks. We got our weapon attacks here. We got our different cantrip flourishes. Once you apply the Kingslayer Dance, or the ability here, you only can use it once per short rest. You do get a cantrip and a spell flourish there, and these are prepared to your turn and can use consecutively, so increasing your overall spell casting and melee attacking ability there. I'm going to segue into showing the Hellionaut here, but first I just want to show off all the changes that we got recently to the Arcane Vanguard. There's a lot to even cover. I've been touching on a lot of these points throughout the video, but yeah, Saethos puts in work in ensuring that the Arcane Vanguard is incredible. But the Hellionaut here. So we got ourselves Fiendish Bonds. When in possession of a soul, you have the access to Fiendish Bonds. So these are different abilities you get as you continue to consume souls. Every time a soul is consumed, you gain 2 turns of heat and allow additional uses of some class features. So you get the Pact of the Hellhunt. Consume a soul to mark an ally creature. When this creature uses an attack roll to damage a target, it is marked. The target's marked with Hellion's Prey, and it'll deal additional 3 fire damage. And we got the Hellfire Brand doing 1d4 plus 1 fire damage. Consume a soul to mark a creature. And this, whenever you apply, must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or become fearful of you. At the end of your next turn, the creature takes 2 to 5 fire damage or half as much on a constitution saving throw. Every time the creature takes damage, the creature will take an additional 1 fire damage up to a maximum of 11 to 14 fire damage. 2 turn bonus action. So you can see here, got some cool abilities. You got cantrips like Green Flame Blade, and then also spells like our Searing Smite and Hellish Rebuke. So you can see exactly where this subclass is going. And you also have the Hellion's Hunt. When landing an attack, you mark the target with the Hellion's Prey. When your prey dies, you'll acquire their soul. And this will give you those heat stacks, which actually are really cool. Heat is not well utilized in the base game of Baldur's Gate 3, but this subclass actually utilizes it in a very interesting manner. And as we continue to level up, we do get some more options for, obviously, with the Arcane Vanguard spells. We also have our Vanguard talents here, but there's some unique spells that we'll be getting as we continue to level up. At level 3, we get the Sacrificial Ray. When you fail a saving throw in possession of a soul, you can use your reaction, consume the soul, gaining the bonus equal to the saving throw of whatever your intelligence modifier is, so like +5, possibly turning failure into success. Hellstep Intercession. When an ally takes damage, you can choose to invoke the infernal powers to switch places with them. When you do, the attacker and all nearby enemies must make a dexterity saving throw or take 2 to 12 fire damage. Pyric Chain's ability here, bonus action, consume a soul to mark a creature with the Pyric Shackles. For the duration, the creature loses movement speed. If the creature moves on its turn, it will gain the Pyric Pull status, penalizing their armor class and saving throws. This is applied for 3 turns. And the Infernal Reprisal. Consume a soul to mark an ally creature or yourself. When this ally takes damage, they may reflect 1 to 6 fire damage, and they also get resistance to fire and necrotic damage. And you guessed it, fire damage, and later on some other spells there. At level 5, we get the ever famous Fireball and Fear spell, which is actually very underrated of a spell. I like both of these quite a bit. Into level 7, you get the Wall of Fire and the Fire Shield spell. Into level 9, we get ourselves a Diabolic Resurgence. When you're in possession of a soul and are dropped to 0 health points, you consume that soul and regain 9 health points. And you also get the Infernal Mirage. When targeted by attack roll, you can impose disadvantage, possibly target that hit into a miss. With the actions, the Edict of Avernus. Enemies within 6 meters must succeed a wisdom saving throw or suffer disadvantage on all saving throws. Any allies within 6 meters get 10 temporary health points equal to their character level and have advantage on all their attack rolls. These effects will last until the start of your next turn. It says 100 turns, everyone's next turn. Very powerful, giving disadvantage and then advantage to your own team is really nice. You also get the Banishing Smite, which is an amazing spell, and Planar Binding there. As we make our way to level 11, you get the Planar Ally and the Elemental Investiture. Embody yourself with an element of your choice, gaining immunities, resistances, and other elemental abilities. At level 15 for the Hellionaut, you get the Soul Forge Aegis. When a creature is marked with Hellion's Hunt is defeated, you instantly gain 15 temporary health. When you have these temporary health points, you regain resistance to bludgeoning, piercing, and slashing damage. And the level 20 capstone, an Overwhelming Inferno. When you deal fire damage, you can consume a soul to deal the maximum damage in it with a triggering ability. That's crazy. Max damage on a fireball. Boom. Incredible. All the capstones for these subclasses are very well thought out and fun to play with, as not everyone's going to go all the way up to level 20 with these. So it's a cool way to really work out if you got like Nightmare difficulty or Tactician Enhanced on here. So what's fun about this is you got all these different Fiendish Bond abilities, so like the Pack of the Hell Hunt, Hellfire Brand, Infernal Reprisal, Pyrrhic Chains, and the Edict of Avernus there. So as you continue to get more souls, you can use different ones like that. So it's very fun to mess around with because you can do a whole lot of different stuff with it. And the fire damage, it's just really enjoyable to use on this class. So yeah, you also got the Hellstep Intercession here. Whenever go to damage someone, you can teleport there and create the fire. And with our Evocation of War there, so you get a lot of these different abilities here from the subclasses. I think it's awesome. Very, very well done. The Graveknight is also a very fun new subclass. If you haven't given this one a shot, I definitely recommend it. It's similar but different to the Hellionaut, which is very, very fun. So you get different cantrips like Bone Chill, Grave Bolt, which can do either acid poison or necrotic damage, and Lardok's Minor Drain. There's also special Graven Arts, which are kind of similar to the abilities that you get with the Hellionaut here. So tap into your Graven Arts, consume your Graven Arts stacks that fuel your actions. You may only activate one at a time here with Corrosive Blood, dealing 3 acid damage, and your weapon attacks have a chance to inflict the Corrosive Wounds, which on attacks against you will have advantage whenever this is up. And there's also like Life Leech here, which heal you for the damage done plus half your Arcane Vanguard level. So some cool abilities. It's like a higher risk, higher reward kind of character. The Grave Arts can actually cause harm to yourself, but you want to obviously get a big return out of them. What's nice is it also has a bunch of different spells that make sense for it. Like you got Hex, Acid Stream, you got Grease, Cure Wounds, Arms of Hadar. My personal favorite, however, is the Icequiver. So you infuse the power of frost into your bows, expending spells through marksman skill. So this basically infuses Ray of Frost into your arrow attacks, which is really fun, lowering target's movement speed by 3 meters. You also get your Ice Knife Bow Shot here, which does weapon damage plus a 2d6 of cold damage, and then also the Creator Destroy Water spell. So those are awesome. Frostwalk, whenever you deal cold damage, you give yourself the Frostwalk stats until the end of your next turn, so you don't end up slipping on all the ice. I love this. It's great also with the Snowburst Ring. You got so many different fun ways to play the Icequiver. This is my favorite subclass in particular. However, all of these are great, and I definitely recommend giving them all a shot, especially some of these newer ones and the Dervish rework that they've just recently done. So again, Saethos has knocked it out of the park with another major update to the Arcane Vanguard. I just want to talk about all of the changes and the new stuff that have come to this subclass because they've done so much work on this and deserves recognition. So check out their page too for more. Pending approval, the Hellionaut is will potentially come to console at some point. Just wait for the approval of that. They were pretty quick with the Graveknight coming to console, so we'll have to see how this works out. But yeah, I just want to cover this because it's one of my favorite class mods. I actually think it's the best class mod because of all the hard work that's put in by Saethos. So yeah, let me know your favorite thing about the Arcane Vanguard in the comments below. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Have yourself a great day, and we'll see you all in the next video.